Wait a minute. Hey, when I watch Jalen Hurts play against Green Bay, I do this. Oh, man. Is this supposed to go in that end? When I watch Josh Allen, I'm like, wow. Dude, it's like looking at Halle Berry. Josh Allen's Halle Berry, and Jalen Hurts is like looking at Hillary Clinton. Like looking at Hillary Clinton in a two-piece. Looking at Josh Allen, they go, look at that, man. I mean, that's like Halle Berry in the cat girl outfit. What about Hurts? It's like watching Hillary Clinton in a two-piece, in a spaghetti thong. Oh, God, please, no image. All right, I got to clean my glasses off because this is going to get ugly. I'm sure of it. Yeah. Holy cow, man. All right. John McMullen and Zander are kicking ass in the morning show. By the way, we're mowing over right now on Twitter right now. We've got over 1,000 people watching the show right now. So we really appreciate it. Guys, please hit. It's like Jalen Hurts is Rosie O'Donnell in a thong. Let's bring in Zander.
No comment, Big Cells. No comment at all.
Oh, my God. How about this stat here, Junior? Mahomes, 231 in touchdowns. Allen, 226. Mahomes, or Peyton Manning, 225, and Marino, 225. He's on a list with Hall of Famers and legendary players for the first 7 years in his career.
Congratulations. He's got good stats. Now it's time to win.
He does win. He's 50-18 since 2000.
Okay, he's never won the big one. He's never even made it to the big one.
Okay. Well, you know what? When you have to go through Mahomes.
Well, look, I'm not criticizing the player. I like the player a lot. I think he's the second best quarterback in the league by a long shot. I think he's that good. I don't think he's Mahomes' level, but I think he's that good of a player. But, You
see what they're doing to him, though. They want him to spread the ball around like they do in Kansas City now.
Look, he's a good player. Everybody can admit that when they watch him. The guy's a good player. But, I want to win Super Bowls, and he hasn't gotten there yet. So he's got to do that for me in order to get over the hump. But, yeah, he's a great football player. If you're asking me to compare him to Jalen Hurts, okay. He's a better quarterback.
Don't worry. You don't have to, honey. You can. Zander, can you please help Sills off his knees with Allen, who hasn't been to a Super Bowl? Facts. Hurts has. Ooh, so Jimmy Garoppolo.
Philly Ace. Appreciate it, brother.
Wide receivers have the easiest job on the team. Let's be real. I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either.
Hey, first and foremost, man, all seriousness aside, guys, please hit the like button. Just your takeaway on Tua first, because I know you were at Alabama when he was down there. Just your takeaway a little bit on what you saw last night, because it was hard to watch.
Yeah, it's tough to watch, man. I like Tua a lot. Part of me is a little bit jaded on him. I told this on Birds 365 this morning. Many don't know. I had 2 classes with Tua at Alabama. We sat right next to each other, and these were not big. These were not – wait, I'll get there. These were not big classes. These were 35, 40 people, isolated classes in the beginning of your college career. He's a very, very approachable guy. Very nice, very cool dude. I had many conversations with him. Honestly, I think he'd probably know my name. That's how many conversations we had, because we had back-to-back semesters, and he was kind of like, hey, man, you again.
Cool.
He's a great dude. Obviously, I watched him win a national championship with Alabama as well. So I hate to see it. But, the whole concussion thing, I really don't want to comment on it. Because, look, what am I going to do? Tell the guy to retire? What am I going to do? Tell him not to retire? I don't freaking know. Tua's got to make that decision. I don't know. It sucks to watch. I remember, the game a couple of years ago when he got hit hard behind the line of scrimmage and his hands, so I almost puked that night after watching that, because I love football. There's nothing I hate more than watching head injuries. I despise it. I just can't do it. I can't stomach it. So watching that really sucked. And you see it last night. It was a little bit more stomachable last night, the way he got hit. But, I hope he does what's best for himself. I told you before the show, I'm like, and the other thing is, I get what you said at the top of the show. Like, when you work your whole life for something, and many men I'm sure can understand this in the chat, many women too, but you dedicate your entire life, your entire being to something, in a way, you're willing to die for it.
Yep,
and that's
right.
how some people feel. And they can criticize you for your thought process. It's easy to say, hey man, you got your money, retire and hang them up.
Yep.
Tua might not be feeling that. And that's why I'd say, look, let him make his decision. I think he should get some good medical people, which I'm sure he'll get to weigh in, on where he's at. You don't want to become a vegetable later in your life. I think he's probably pretty close to that. But it was tough to watch, man. It really was. It's tough to watch. I think the guy, he's a great guy. He hasn't been a great quarterback in the NFL. Now he got the big bag of money, so that might change his decision making. But right now, I'm just feeling for the player. Hopefully, he's healthy. Hopefully, he can live a long life. I know he's a faith-filled man, which I respect a lot. So I'm sure he wants kids. I'm sure he wants a family. I'm sure he wants all of those things in the future. He comes from a phenomenal family, by the way. His roots are great. So up to the player, man. I'd let the player make the decision, but definitely he's in a tough spot. 4 concussions now. Definitely a tough spot for him.
I'll say one thing to you.
It's a good point pipe by JM too. Ask a tradesman who sacrificed their body for a career if they regret it. They do, JM. But these are guys that do it for a lot less than multiple millions of dollars than NFL guys. It's a little bit of a different. And some tradesmen do put their life on the line without making millions of dollars. That just goes to show you that certain men will do anything to provide for their family. Tua has provided. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. But like I said, right now I'm feeling for the player. Hopefully he sits through it and can make the right decision for himself.
Hey, JM, how many plumbers do you know put guns in their chest and in their mouth because they sacrificed their brains going out there and playing? I know about 6 of them. Andre Waters,
yeah, he's a
Junior Seau, Mike Webster. I know people that have put bullets in their mouths, and I know people who have shot themselves because of the love of the game. I don't know carpenters doing that. So when you say sacrifice, okay, I get what you're saying about a guy getting up, but I know Junior Seau went into a room by himself, turned the lights out, and didn't. You know why he didn't shoot himself in the mouth? He shot himself in the chest because he wanted doctors to operate on his brain. Okay, so let's understand a little bit what these guys go through mentally with CTE. Okay, I mean, a little different than a carpenter. Okay, so let's move off that. Now, let's move on to something that I said about that Dolphin team. Dude, unless proven otherwise, and I loved what you said too. I know Hamlin, I felt for him a lot.
Yeah.
Because there's and Zander, there's a guy right there, DeMar Hamlin, is a prime example of what we're talking about here with, talking about what a guy who was dying twice on a field, there he was back on a field playing. Nobody was going to tell him to quit.
Yeah, no, you're right. Look, I hear what you're saying, no doubt. I get the thing with this one is I understand everybody.
It's a tough convo.
I understand all points of view. I understand if you're like, don't do it. I understand your point of view when you're a player and you're 25 and you're, committed to your craft. I understand all points of view. That's why I said Tua shouldn't listen to anybody. Get with your family, get with a good doctor, get with a coach that you trust. I heard Nick Saban speak about it today. He spoke about it from a medical perspective. Just get with the doctor, have good insight from them and make the decision for himself. I'm not going to speak for him on what he should do, no doubt.
How about the Dolphins being soft as molasses? I mean,
yeah, they're soft. They're a soft football team. That's
disappointing.
Well, look, I mean, they were the ones that cried about Vic Fangio. There was like 6 players on that defense that cried about Vic Fangio last year. And just a couple press conferences here in Philly, and why they're crying, right?
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't pull any punches. If Bryce Huff was down there, he probably would have been crying too because, he's been ripping Bryce Huff a little bit. So that's Vic Fangio's style, and it does show you kind of the personality that some of those players have. But, it's Miami, baby. It's fruitcake city down there.
Hey, doesn't this vindicate a little bit Vic and why people were saying that Vic was?
Well, yeah, I never thought that them crying about Vic was a big deal. I never did.
I thought it was more about. I thought it was more of a big deal about them, not on Vic. I thought it was more about the Colts. Hey, listen, you said something earlier. No question, brother. It looks like he's a great dude to play for, but do I want him as my head coach? If my football team looks like and as soft as that, I don't know, man. I mean, I like the man. I like the human, Mike McDaniel. But do I like him as the head coach setting a culture? I don't know, dude. I mean,
I see
that
what you're
team
saying.
is soft.
Yeah, and look, I see what you're saying. I said I like Mike this morning. I do
I do
like Mike.
too. I do too.
I get why players like playing for him. He's always got their back, but that's a different conversation than if you're going to be a great football coach, and I do wonder if it's going to work. A lot of times players, coaches don't last that long. So we'll see what ends up happening with him. Look, here's what I will say about him. He's a great offensive mind, great play caller. So we'll see what ends up happening with them. But they are a soft team, no doubt. I mean, if you want to beat that team, all you got to do is punch them in the mouth.
Yep.
And you win.
Let's take a look at first. Wait, before I do this, I saw WIP had a poll up. 444 touches he's on pace for. That's Barkley. By the way, do I believe? No, I do not. It's not happening. However, I do think that they're going to. I remember at the beginning. Remember when we were getting ready for the start of the season? I said, Zander, I think they're going to run a lot of that offense through him, and maybe early on they're going to run a lot of that offense as Jalen starts to come around and get on the same page. I thought it was interesting comments that he made about Kellen Moore. Hey, it was great to finally hear him in my ear. We kind of know a little bit more. We had a rhythm going. And when he said it too, they had a rhythm going in the second half. I thought the Eagles played better in the second half because there was more of a rhythm. So that I think they're going to improve a lot come Atlanta. But boy, I'll tell you something. I'm concerned about how, and going forward, what the usage is going to be on Barkley, because I think he's going to be an integral part of what they're going to want to do and how they're going to want to look as they get closer to the playoffs.
I think there's going to be a scale back, but I don't think it's going to be drastic. They didn't pay this guy $12 million to put him on the bench or to ride Kenny Gainwell. So, I think they're going to, one of the injuries is just one of those things you just can't legislate. So, I think they're going to play him when they need to play him, and I don't think they're going to think too much about it. I would urge them to kind of lower the workload a little bit now and increase it as you get later in the year, as the games become, more important to get the seeding that you want, maybe win the first seed, get into the playoffs. You want Barkley playing his best football, after Thanksgiving. So that's what I would do, but it's the NFL, man. They're going to go out there and try and win every football game. And if that requires Barkley to have 25 touches, I wouldn't put it past them. I think they're going to do it, but we'll see what they end up doing. I don't think he's going to be on a pitch count. I really don't. Maybe they'll be conscientious about it and try and lower how many snaps.
I do think it'll be week to week.
Yeah, I do too. I think they'll try and scale it back if they can scale it back. But if they need to win a football game and they need Barkley to do it, they're going to give it to him.
Or close out a game.
Right. Last week, he got eight carries in the last drive, man. I mean, he only got 15 or 16 yards on those 8 carries. So, look, if they need to ride him, they're going to ride him. But you definitely have to be a little bit careful. You want Saquon playing great for you late in the season because, look, this team is not built to – we do not want to go 14-3 and then lose in the playoffs. Nobody wants that. I'd rather go 10-7 and march to the Super Bowl. So that's what I want. That's my preference. But we'll see what they end up doing with Saquon. You're right though. That pace that he's on, that's too many. And I think Saquon knows that, and I think Kellen knows that as well.
Absolutely, guys. We're at over 1,100 people on all the platforms right now. We really appreciate it. If you guys can please hit the like button for us. A great day of Football Friday. It's pretty cool right now, Zander. Over 1,100 folks.
Yeah, a lot of people on Twitter. Good stuff from everybody over
Good stuff, everybody. We really appreciate it here. I want to go through a little bit more of what I think has to happen against Atlanta on Monday and how you have to pick up your effort that you had against Green Bay. And I'm going to start with Bryce Huff here. The dude has got to get pressure, in my opinion. Look, they got Matthews, who's a good left tackle. You know what I would do if I was Vic? I would do everything in my power, Zander, to move him around and move him and try to find matchup. Try to find weakness matchups. Put him on the weakest guy in the O-line. Put him on the other side.
Who are you talking about, Carter or Huff?
I'm talking about Huff. Carter is going to be double teamed. He's going to be double teamed.
Carter's going to be double teamed, but even with the double team, that he could create some problems for them. I really think
Davis
so.
Is going to be on.
Right. Because Lindstrom's pretty good, but that Bergeron guy on the inside. I mean, if Carter gets any time versus that guy, he is going to eat his lunch. And then, I think Dowman is that their center?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. He's not going to be great either. So, they're going to double him. And I think you're right. Lindstrom can probably handle Davis, pretty well. But we'll see, how they attack. And look, that right there is your three guys. That gives you a one-on-one with Bryce Huff. Get around the edge on the outside and get home, man. It's got to be his game this week. Also, Kirk Cousins has been a statue. It took away a lot of what Kirk does. Kirk has always thrived on rolling out a little bit, throwing on the run, not completely on the run like Jalen, but the play action.
Moving the pocket.
Exactly, moving in the pocket a little bit. He couldn't do any of that in week 1. He says his Achilles is fine. Well, it didn't look fine. So pray on that. Take advantage of that. Get some pressure up the middle to force Kirk, to be under pressure, and then you got to get home on the outside. So if they do that, dude, I think this game could be a blowout. I haven't given my score yet. Obviously, we're waiting until Monday, for the predictions. But I don't think if the Eagles show up, Nick Foles retirement ceremony, first game at the Link of the year. I think everything is for the Eagles this week, man. I think it could be an ugly game for the Falcons.
Run Saquon late in big games and save him for January. I think that's kind of, Jesse, what we're talking about. We just missed the super chat, and thank you, Jesse, for your super chat. I appreciate it.
Look at my man, Jacob.
Here's Jacob coming in. Don't worry, Sills. We'll clinch home field advantage when we start 13-0. Hold on. Let me clean my Eagle glasses off here. Hold on here for a second. I'm cleaning them off here. Here we go.
13-0, baby.
He's going to rest the final games. There you go, Jacob. Spoken like a true Eagle homer. Barkley reminds me of Priest Holmes.
Priest
Holmes is good, dude. They said only 2 quarterbacks had 300 yards because the defense.
I thought he was talking about Mark Holmes, and he was calling him Priest Holmes for all his good works. I don't even know Priest Holmes.
Priest Holmes is a really good running back, man.
Yeah,
He was.
Okay. I misunderstood. Sorry, disciple.
Who he backed up? He backed up Ricky Williams at Texas. Those 2 dudes were crazy, insane good. He was a good back, Priest Holmes, man. He was. Huff was a demon for the Jets. We need him. We need that here. Nick, a demon on a 6-win team. And he didn't start ever. I told you, man, day 1. By the way, too, holy cow. I mean, dude, this guy does not look the part here. All right, let me move off. I've already killed that guy enough. I've already put a dagger in that guy.
Well, he's got to be better, man. I mean, look, Nick, I appreciate it, but, and let me ask you, Sills, because I do have a question on it. He had 10 sacks last year. He was top 3 in pass rush win rate, pressure on the quarterback. I mean, he had some great numbers last year. He was up there with like Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons in terms of getting, pass rush win rate and all those things. And whatever, you might not factor that in, but I do think it matters a little bit.
I do.
How much does it change, though, when you go from the backup to now you're the paid guy? It does, right? Because now teams are game planning for you a little bit. They have some of your tape.
Xander, they situationally played him. They put him in win situations for him and used his skill set. He was a 3rd down guy. He didn't have to worry about stopping the run. He didn't have to worry about covering anybody. You know what they did? They treated him like Reddick. Reddick, who I had a problem with the same issues.
Yeah, but if he gives us what Reddick gave us, we're going to be happy. We haven't even seen that. We haven't even seen that at all.
Dude, that guy was first in the NFL in 3rd down sacks, tackles for losses, and he had 16 sacks in the regular season. I'm going to live with shitty tackling with that.
Flexen's right. I mean, Flexen makes a good point.
How was Huff a demon when he barely was on the field? I know he had 480 snaps. Don't demons have to impact the game? He never impacted a game, in my opinion.
It is one game, though. I see Jack Straw in the chat. He's like, give the mother humpa a chance, man. One game. You're right. Look, Jack, you are right, but we haven't seen much from him. We didn't see anything in camp. We didn't see anything in the preseason, which if you don't factor it, that's fine for me because, the preseason is the preseason. But we haven't seen it yet. So if you can't get home on this Falcons team their tackles are pretty good. They're probably top 10 pair of tackles. But you got to get home, man. You got to get home. So it's time for him to step up. You need the D-line this week, especially going up against Bijan Robinson, who's really a game-wrecking type of player, especially at this stage in his career. You need him to show up this week.
I misspoke. He was great in a limited role. You're right, Nick. You're absolutely right. I thought he was really good in a limited role too. But like Xander said, dude, You guys criticized last year Josh Sweat for having the amount of reps he played because it took away his production. Look at the amount of reps that Bradbury had. He had 1501. It took his production away. Why wouldn't it take Bryce Huff's production away? You're right, Zander. It's 1 week. But I'll tell you what, it's been a month and a half. You know, I mean, all I hear is Vic talking shit on him. I don't hear. Have you ever heard him say one positive thing about Bryce Huff?
Who, Vic?
Yeah.
No. No, not at all. Remember earlier in the summer?
I've heard more about Jalen Hunt.
Yeah, like, well, he said earlier in the summer, oh, we'll see. And then, recently this week, he's like, well, he's got to separate himself. So he's not separated himself from a 35-year-old Brandon Graham and from a first-round draft pick of Nolan Smith, who's got like 1 sack or 2 sacks in 3 seasons or 2 seasons. I mean, Nolan Smith has done absolutely nothing. And you're telling me the $17 million man can't separate himself from Nolan Smith? Yeah, I mean, come on.
Look what you did to Brandon Graham. This guy, Bryce Huff, is playing so fucking bad. Brandon Graham's even going, maybe I'll play another year.
Brandon Graham. I mean, by the way, let's give some credit to Brandon Graham.
Absolutely. I thought he played
Brandon
well.
Graham still looks great. If you said Brandon Graham was a wasted roster spot, you are incorrect.
Yes, absolutely.
He continues to look good out there, and I think he's going to have a bigger role this year, but we'll see.
Okay. This is going to be a key in this game on Monday. What do you do with Mitchell? I mean,
tough matchup.
But wait a minute. What do you do in the slot?
Yeah, I think they might move him back to the slot.
I think they're going to. And I think they're going to put – now, here's my – now, look, Isaiah Rodgers on Drake London, I'm good with that. Okay? Quinyon Mitchell, Bijan Robinson, and Kyle Pitts. That's where I want him. I want him on the better players, don't you?
Yeah, you do. But
look, I don't think the numbers are.
You're going to put Quinyon in the slot to get Isaiah Rodgers on the outside.
Are going to threaten you on Monday, or do you think the seam, and the hash marks are going to threaten you more with the poor linebacker play and with the kind of players that Atlanta has, a pass catching tight end and also a running back who had 60 catches a year ago? I mean, I think I need him in that slot going against those two dudes. Putting him out wide against Drake London, I think Isaiah or Keely Ringo can cover that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't know what they're going to do. They might put Isaiah on the outside. I don't love that. I'd rather keep Quinyon on the outside, and maybe it's time to get Cooper DeJean up and ready in the slot. I don't know. Maybe that's a risk too. I think either way you slice it, you're not in your ideal defense in week 2, but we'll see. I mean, people are high on Isaiah Rodgers, but we'll see. I mean, we'll see what he's going to be. I mean, he's not a physical guy. He's not my type of corner at all. He's a small dude. He's undersized. You're talking about, Drake London. That's a pretty big wide receiver. They got some guys. So,
but he's their third dude.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I think Cooper DeJean is going to be their third dude though soon.
Here's my problem again is that, okay, so I'm going to put Quinyon out there on half the field on the other side. I got Slay on the other side. The entire middle of the field is wide open with poor tackling linebackers and with safeties that are going to have to really be in a slot that's going to – so are you going to put Avonte Maddox in the slot to cover Kyle Pitts?
Look, I came into the season, I'm like, hey, Avonte Maddox's problem has never been ability, but boy, he looked terrible.
So did Gardner Johnson. By the way, is Gardner Johnson available for this game Monday?
Yeah, he'll be available. But, I went back and watched the All-22, and I also rewatched the condensed version of the game. It's not the third time I've watched it. Gardner Johnson had some really bad plays, but he also did have some good plays where he brought physicality. So I think that's kind of what you get with a player like him. He goes for the big play. Sometimes he misses, but he will make some splash plays. So I think that's what you're going to get with Gardner Johnson. I originally said I was very disappointed in his performance. It was okay. It wasn't great, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. So Reed Blankenship was the player of the secondary, though, in week 1. He played phenomenal. So we'll see what they end up doing with everybody. But Gardner Johnson's got to be better. Avonte Maddox has to be better. If he's going to be out there, he's got to be better. He got picked on all game versus the Packers. Jordan Love was just going to him. So we'll see what they end up doing. I just don't love putting Quinyon in the slot, man. I really don't. I mean, you draft a bona fide corner who looks like he can be be the outside guy and you're going to move him into the slot. I just don't love
there's
it.
a reason they practiced him there.
Well, yeah, because that was the setup in camp, especially when he came in and, Cooper was hurt. So all those different variables put him in the slot. But
Isaiah would have started Green Bay if he didn't hurt his foot or his hand.
Isaiah won't play in the slot, though. He
No.
said it on the show he was on. He was on, I think, not Thomas Mott's, the Philly Special Show on YouTube. He said it. He's not a slot guy. So, I'm not as high on Isaiah Rodgers as everybody else in Eagle Nation is. I'm just not. I haven't seen it yet. We'll see. I mean, he's very non-physical. He's not a great tackler. So he's a good coverage guy. If you're good with a good coverage guy out there, that gives you two good coverage guys in Slay and Isaiah Rodgers, who aren't physical corners. And Slay, you can understand. He's 34. He's not going to be the most physical guy on the team anymore. But I don't know. I think that makes you a little bit weak in the secondary, man, in terms of physicality. And I don't know if you want that.
You think the ultimate wet dream for the Eagles in their future, what they want, is Quinyon Mitchell at one corner, Keely Ringo at the other corner. The safeties, they want Sidney Brown, and they want Cooper DeJean. And that slot.
No, they don't want Cooper DeJean at safety. No, that's not their wet dream.
So you think they want him on the – no way.
No. They want him at slot, I think.
Slot.
I think
so Reed and Sidney at the safeties, and then Cooper in the slot, and then Ringo at the other to replace Slay. That's what they're looking at.
I think
future.
I think that could be a look at your future. Yes, and I'd be pretty happy with that. Sidney Brown. I mean, he got hurt last year, obviously at the end of the season, but he had a pretty good rookie campaign. He's a physical guy. So we'll see how long CJ Gardner-Johnson's here, but probably 2 years and then he'll be gone. But Reed Blankenship is a player they like. We'll see. He's got, I think, next year he's under contract now because they bought out that undrafted free agent. So we'll see. But I do think that's probably their, as you worded it, their wet dream.
Sills, is Vic blitzing his inside backers more to open up Carter? I guess my question is, does inside blitzes prevent teams from doubling a defensive tackle? Yeah, but that's a risk because if you blitz your linebackers, guess what? That means that your other linebacker and your safeties, they have to play up more, and they play too high safety, RTF. Okay? So watch this. If you blitz one of them backers, that means you got one guy that's got to go back over and play that Tampa 2 style in the middle of the field. Who is that guy? Nakobe? You can have one guy covering the middle of the seam with a guy like Bijan coming across the middle with 2 high safety and corners that play 10 yards off the ball. You better be right on your blitzing. I mean, but they're going to have to. RTF, they're going to have to manufacture pressure because what I saw in that game, I didn't see enough pressure. And I didn't think Green Bay played well offensively. They were all over the board. I didn't think Love played exceptionally great. How about the fact that they're thinking of playing him this weekend, which is absolutely insane.
Who, Jordan Love?
Yeah, they're talking about.
Wow, is that the update on him? I didn't even see that.
Dude, I'd like to know I'd like to know what he's listed on with the injury list because Matt LaFleur, maybe he was just playing a game on Wednesday.
Ian Rappaport, who,
I agree.
He says that he thinks he's going to miss a couple weeks.
Okay, because LaFleur said Wednesday he's not ruled out. And I'm like, that's crazy.
Let me look real quick because
look at the injury report for Green Bay.
The thing that I don't get, and I'm not a doctor, and never would I ever.
I only play one.
I'm too stupid for that, man. I'm too stupid to be a doctor. But when you watch that video and you see the pop in the knee, I'm like, something. I don't know what it is because I'm not smart enough to know, but something happened there.
Yeah, but that could be a hyperextension. Okay,
right. Which I guess could be a quick turnaround. I don't know. They already, JM says they already said Willis is starting. I don't know. JM, you got your panties in a bunch this week, brother. You might need to take the rest of the show off. He's been shitting on us for 25 minutes straight. He writes me a soliloquy earlier in the week about how I need to fire Sileo. Come on, JM. Take a deep breath, big guy, and just enjoy it.
And folks, know this. JM's here 4 hours, which is he writes a soliloquy like he's the Unabomber, and then he tells everybody how I should be fired. And then he turns around and he goes like that. By the way, 1,200 people in the show. I guess it's not working, JM. So, Zander, let's move on here to the next one here. Let's go here for Atlanta here. There's no question. You're going to have to be better tackling in this whole scenario here on Monday too. And do you think that improves with a football team that has a stationary quarterback? I think that improves their tackling a little. I think they're going to improve a lot. Zander, Nick said something right. The biggest improvement you see is from week 1 to week 2. I think you're going to see improvement with Jalen, and I think you're going to see the defense improve even more. John thought that they would be better. I didn't. I was actually happy with their performance.
Yeah, look, I think the one thing I will say about this defense is if they can get it going, they could be really good, man. I mean, you talked about it all offseason, how it's all potential. Well, now you started to see it. And I thought, it wasn't perfect in week 1, but Quinyon Mitchell looked pretty good. Zach Bond is a surprise at linebacker. Nakobe Dean wasn't burnt toast. I mean, he wasn't great. I'm not saying he was great, but can he be middle of the pack? That's an upgrade at linebacker.
That's all you need.
Exactly. That's all you need from him, especially if you have Zach Bond, who, by the way, Stills, you got to rewatch that game. He was everywhere, dude. Like, it didn't just look like a one-off. Now, maybe it will be. I'm not sure yet on Zach Bond, but he was everywhere in that game, dude. It was unbelievable to watch. I watched last night. I was watching the All-22, and I kept just rewatching. I'm like, I'm just going to watch Zach Bond on this play. The guy he was a missile. He was flying everywhere. So if you get that from him consistently, you're not going to get 15 tackles and 2 sacks. But
Zander, I will drink breast milk on this program. If Zach Bond continues his play all year, he'll be the defensive player of the year.
No, he's not. Look, he's not going to continue on that trajectory. But will he be a competent linebacker better than what we had last year, and Nick Morrow and whoever who was the dude we signed from the Colts? He was a great player.
Shaq Barrett.
Not Shaq Barrett.
Who was
Leonard?
it?
Shaq Leonard?
Shaq Leonard, that's it.
Yeah,
Shaq Leonard.
he stunk. We signed him, and I'm like, oh, yeah, he was great in Indianapolis. He stunk last year. So if they can be better than that, shit, man, this defense looks like it could be pretty damn good. You all obviously have the guys at the front that have to be better. You need Jordan Davis to step up. You need Jalen Carter to step up. You need Bryce Huff to be something. But if these guys eventually get it going, this defense could really be good, because I think the secondary, Sills, has been a pleasant surprise. I know we just talked about how you're concerned at the slot, you're concerned at the nickel, some of those things, and I get it, but Slay looked better than I thought. They didn't even try and throw to him because he was so good in coverage. Quinyon Mitchell looked better, than we thought a rookie would at this point. Reed Blankenship has been a pleasant surprise, and CJ Gardner-Johnson is going to be CJ Gardner-Johnson. So I think if this defense can kind of work to mesh it, we talked about it with the offense the other day. People are calling me Sills Jr. 2 days ago, I projected them to win multiple Super Bowls with Jalen Hurts. How am I Sills Jr.? But by the way, that's a great compliment. Thank you. Sills is a great broadcaster.
Wait a minute, 14 wins, he also said, too, you numbnuts.
Yeah, I'm not Sills Jr. as much as I'd like to be Sills Jr. I'm definitely not Sills Jr. when it comes to the Eagles. But I think this team is a high potential. I think this team, if they take these first 6, 7, 8 weeks and focus on getting things right, I mean, they could be a really good football team. 2025, they're going to be nasty, especially on defense.
Disciple, can he be TJ Edwards? Let's see some consistency with games back.
Well, him and TJ Edwards were the 2 leading tacklers in the NFL this week.
That's every time I hear that, it makes me want to kick Howie Roseman in the shins.
Yeah, but look, that would have sucked if we didn't have an Eagle on that list. But all of a sudden, Zach Bond shows up, and it makes it a little easier to stomach. You're like, all right, at least we got Zach Bond.
Look, I can take it. There's TJ. And wait a minute. Okay, you're right. They won that football game against Tennessee last week because of TJ Edwards and that defense. We missed a super chat here, Zander, if we can pull it up after Disciple here. Who's breast milk? No comment. No, Similac, jackass. Come on, Brian. Yeah, all right. Anyway, here's the next one. Mekhi Becton played well in that Green Bay game. He's got his hands full this week with this guy, Jarrett, that's going to be in front of him. He's a pretty good football player, but I'll tell you something about Mekhi Becton. You start putting these games together, here's another decision you're going to have to make that's going to be pretty difficult at the end of the year. It's a decision that's really cool, but I'll tell you, man, I didn't think he played poorly. I thought he was really good in that game against Green Bay. He kept the guy in front of him. He never gave up pressure in Jalen's lap. I mean, he really played well. He played against some pretty good players that were there. I mean, he's got another game where he's going to have to be on his hands, and he's going to have to be on his toes for it, because this guy's a pretty good player, this Jared kid. So I'll tell you, man, I've been pretty impressed with Mekhi Becton's transition over to guard.
Yeah, I think he's going to have his first real test this week.
Yeah,
absolutely. With Jared. And, the field was a problem for both defensive lines last week. Maybe that has something to do with it. So we're going to see. Mekhi Becton does look pretty good, though, at right guard. And it's funny because he just doesn't look like a right guard. I mean, dude, he's like bigger than Lane Johnson. He's bigger than Jordan Mailata. You see this guy on the sideline, and you're just like, that's not a right guard. But look, if it works, it works. And I think, he has looked good. So we'll see. I think this week, that was his first real test. Grady Jarrett's a good player. So we'll see what he can do this week. Someone said we missed the super chat. Did we miss one? Oh, Nick Marchetti. He says Howie has to pay Bond if he's elite all year. He will. I think he will. I don't know. Maybe he won't. I mean,
no, he won't.
We thought he'd pay TJ Edwards, and he didn't do that. So I don't know, Nick. Hopefully he will, though.
No, he likes to completely be on that conveyor belt. Signing Bond, a good look for Vic. That was a Vic call.
I do think it was a Vic call. It's funny because I think he was a Vic call, and then I think Bryce Huff was a Howie call. Oof.
Yeah. How about Jordan Milada against Matthew Judon this week?
I think. Now, we didn't bring this up on Birds.
Judon had a sack.
Yeah. Did Judon pick on Milada last time those two matched up? I think I read that somewhere. Yeah, and I think that I'm not sure. Someone would have to fact check me on that, because I said, how's the matchup with Judon this week? This morning on the show, and John's like, look, I'll take Milada and Lane Johnson every time, and I'm like, yeah, I'm with you, right? Because they're both great tackles, but I think Judon got the best of them last time they played on Milada. And here's the thing about Milada, and when you're going up against a guy like Judon is a vet who's been in the league a long time. So as good as Jordan Mailata is, he's only been playing the game so long. There are things that a seasoned edge rusher like Judon might be able to pick up on that other guys wouldn't. Guys like Bryce Huff, who were just, relying on their speed and athleticism to get around the edge. Judon might see some things there with Milada that he could pick on. I'm not saying he's gonna. I'm just wondering, if a seasoned guy like Judon isn't
against Pittsburgh. He looked great.
Yeah, he did. He's still a good player. He's and Atlanta needed a pass rusher, so they got him now in Judon. So we'll see. I'm gonna lean Eagles though. I think they should be able to handle him.
Because remember something. Wasn't anything Pittsburgh did. Would they have 4 field goals in that game against that Atlanta defense? The Atlanta defense. And again, I mean, Justin Fields is not going to threaten anybody. I mean, this guy refuses to throw a ball.
Justin Fields is atrocious.
Atrocious at throwing the ball. Terrible.
Is unwatchable. He's an unwatchable quarterback. That's how I feel about Justin Fields. Yeah, so, take it with a grain of salt, but we'll see.
You made the comment, Carter versus Bergeron. That should be an advantage. Now, I think Atlanta's got a better offensive line in Green Bay. And that didn't – now, again, could it have been the field? Is Josh Jacobs better than Bijan? I think Josh Jacobs is a better north and south runner than Bijan is right now. I think Bijan is more of a dual threat guy because, I mean, Josh Jacobs was killing that defense, dude. He killed that defense, especially in the second half. He was clipping at 10 yards a carry. And they were just getting knocked off the football. Do I think they'll be better? I do. And the tackling and the angles will be better. This is going to be a linebacker game again, okay? Because I think they're going to get challenged in the middle there. Carter has to not lose his patience and poise with getting double teamed. And Zander, dude, Jordan Davis has got to show up.
Look, if they're going to show up, well, that's what I was about to say. If they're going to double team Jalen Carter, fine. But that means Jordan Davis has to take advantage of, the other guy he's going to be in sync. He's going to be covered by one. So you got to take advantage of that. And I don't know, I watched some tape on the Jordan Davis stuff and, I don't know. We're going to see with him. I think he has so much potential, which is why I continue to give him the benefit of the doubt, but he just hasn't been able to put it all together yet, in a game and make an impact. So maybe this is the week. I think this is a week where the Eagles D-line needs to feast a little bit. People are saying that Atlanta has a pretty good offensive line. They do have good tackles, and they have the one good guard. So we're going to see how it plays out. But I do think that they should be able to take advantage. And if they take advantage of this team and they get pressure on Kirk Cousins, who was a statue back there last week, I don't think Atlanta's going to have a very good day at the link.
I got one last question for you, but I want to make sure that I get to our Bet US friends. If you're looking for a betting house this football season, make sure you guys end up teaming up like we did with the great folks at Bet US. Absolutely awesome. 125% bonuses on your first 3 deposits of up to $2K. 200% in crypto bonuses. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. College football tonight, tomorrow, and also NFL football on Sunday and Monday. Obviously, Eagles in Atlanta, home of Michael Vick. Fastest payouts in the business. 24/7 personalized service. Fastest and best wagering there is on the net, and the fastest payouts in the business. Make sure you go to betus.com.pa, betus.com.pa. Brian brings us up with a super chat. By the way, you guys have been really crazy great today. Zander, we're up over 1,200 people on
all week, dude. We have the best fans on YouTube. I go and watch all these other shows. I say it all the time. Nobody has a chat like us. Nobody. No, I don't care how big they are. They don't have a chat like us. So I love each and every one of them for contributing. Even you, JM, who have been giving us shit all week long. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys make the show a success.
Prince though. Not Prince though.
I love Prince.
Not Prince though.
Prince knows I love him.
Screw him. Sills knows.
Flexen is the funniest guy in the world. I mean, I don't even know Flexen. The guy makes me laugh more than people I spend time with. It's unbelievable. The guy is hilarious. So
I like to hit Prince with that crowbar you gave him, or that wrench you gave his ass. The nose is responsible. Heads up on the center and both A gaps. That's right. He's 2-gapping. Jordan Davis isn't cutting it. Will get washed in the middle. Well, he better step his ass up, man, because I tell you what, like I said, you didn't draft that guy 13th to be a spark plug. You drafted that guy to be an impact player, and Davis needs help inside there. And I would even throw this too. I would even throw Milton Williams got to show up a little bit in there too, because I didn't think he was a factor in that first game.
No, you're right. I want to give, by the way, while we're giving some people some love in the chat, I want to give Mr. International some love.
Go ahead.
He says, I need some love. Mr. International, I've been seeing your comments for 4 years. Don't think I haven't seen you, brother. Mr. International, Sills, was calling for Zander camera time way back before I had any camera time. So Mr. International has been supporting you. He's been supporting Johnny Mac in this channel for a long time. So thank you, Mr. International. I appreciate you, brother. I see all your comments. So thank you, man.
Hey, Prince, take a knee. How you
Where's
doing?
Prince at?
Prince is talking shit to me, man. Hey, Prince, don't get mad because my boy Josh Allen is a superstar. Stop crying about that, man. All right?
Akbar, so you gotta catch my segment with Akbar last week. Hopefully I get Akbar on again.
Was he drinking?
Akbar, maybe just a couple less brewskis, a couple less J's to the face. Whatever you had last week, you can come back on. Maybe just tone it back 10%, Akbar. He was on. They
got me off the booze. Come on, they can get you, Akbar, off the booze.
I don't know, man. Akbar was in his man cave. He was crushing it last week. So good stuff from everybody, man.
Here's the worst guy in the chat right here.
No, Prince is a legend.
All right, whatever, man. Hey, by the way, real quick, last one here for you. You think your boys go up to Wisconsin? Pretty tough place to go up to and win.
I'm talking about Bama?
Bama.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game, man. Like you, I'm a Bama guy, obviously through and through. I went to the school, paid a lot of money to go to the school, so I think my fandom is warranted for anybody that wants to call me a front runner. I don't know, man. Look, you don't replace Nick Saban. So
I thought they struggled in the first half.
They did. I watched the whole game. I'm watching it. I'm like, we're not going to lose our first game. Who was it? Western Kentucky or whatever the hell we were?
USF.
Yeah, USF. So I'm like, uh-oh. So we'll see on DeBoer. I like him, but we'll see. The jury's still out on him. So I think we play Georgia coming up soon in a couple of weeks. So he's got some big tests. We'll see what he's able to do with the Crimson Tide. We'll see.
Dude, that's a big time roster they got. I got everybody at USF going, Sills, are you watching this? Like 60 minutes, juniors.
Yeah,
hang in there now.
They ended up beating them pretty bad by the end, but still,
Yeah, I was like, first half, that thing was a game.
You
Zander.
don't replace Sills, the greatest college
No.
football coach to ever grace the planet.
Dude, when you can outdo Bear Bryant, okay, I mean, yeah, dude, I mean, the stadium,
No, I'm not Eagles fan. Get that out of here. No, I'm not.
Bryant Denny Stadium. Do you understand? Hey, by the way, man, do you ever go see Legion Field?
No.
I played at Legion Field where they played for a long time before they had the Tuscaloosa thing. But they used to play.
Yeah, that's Birmingham. That's that Birmingham stadium.
Yeah, and that's where they played the Iron Bowl a lot of times. They played the Iron Bowl there. I played a football game there. And when you walk in, Zander, they got a big old ass statue of Bear Bryant, and all the people down there in Birmingham, they go, see that right there? That's Jesus Christ himself right here. See this side right here? That's Jesus Christ right there. I go, where? Where's the cross? He goes, where you looking, son? That's Bear Bryant, huh? That's Bear Bryant, boy. You know what?
Look, man, when you're in Alabama, you go outside your campus of Tuscaloosa, where the Alabama campus is. There's not much going on there. So they got college football. They love it. They eat it. They sleep it. They breathe it. It's their way of living. So you're right. They do love it down there, man. Great people, though. Great people. The people of Alabama they're misunderstood. I will say that they're very misunderstood. They're great people. There's a lot of dumb stereotypes out there around about some of them may be a little true, but they're good people. They are. They're really good.
They're good folks. They're good folks. Unlike One Nut Prince. I mean, unlike One Nut Prince. Prince, don't worry about it, sweet doggy. I love you, princess. We're all good, honey. Zander, great stuff. Can't wait for hey folks. By the way, don't forget about our pre and post game show on Monday. We appreciate everybody. Please hit the like button. Jason Cole's going to join us. He's down there in Miami, so I'm sure there's a lot of conversation going on about Tua and what to do next and what should the Dolphins do. One last thing on that here, Zander. Do you think there should be a protocol in the league that allows teams that if you sign a contract with a player like that, when you have a catastrophic injury like that, that allows you out of a contract like that?
No. Because that now you're going to put everything on the player who these league owners
I'm not saying void his contract.
Everybody knows the risks that are associated with this game. If you're going to sign that dotted line, that player deserves that money. So I'm never going to say that there should be an out for an injury. Why? So we could let the owners get off the hook, let the players go out with a catastrophic injury with nothing to show for it, and the owner can skate free with another $100 million in his pocket. I'm not gonna vouch for that at all. No, I mean, look, these guys put their lives on the line. This is it's a brutal game, So I think the players should be taken care of like they are right now, and I don't think that should happen.
Almost 1,300 people are now online with us here.
Matt Bird asked a good question. I'd like to hear from some people in the chat. Who is going to the game on Monday? Our man Eduardo. I'm not sure if Eduardo is still in here. He was down at the Brazil game. I wanted to ask him what he thought of the Brazil game.
Hey, Zander, is there a waiting list for those Eagle fans to get season tickets?
Yeah, I think so.
Is there? There used to be season tickets that you had to have a waiting list for the New York Giants back in the 80s.
I'm sure we have some season ticket holders in here. You'd have to ask them, but I'm pretty sure there is a waiting list. I don't have season tickets. I'm not.
Can you walk up? Can you walk up?
No way. Yeah, so there must be a waiting list. Sold out for sure. Yeah, I mean, you can't just walk up and be like, "Hey, let me get some seats." This isn't the Flyers.
So it's not like the Washington Commanders. You're not walking up and buying.
No, the Flyers are doing some crazy.
Ticket.
The Flyers are doing a lot of crazy promotions in the last couple of years, trying to get some season ticket holders. I know that the Phillies were too before they got good in the last couple of years. So, there's Eduardo. He checked in. It was like a playoff game, Xander. The only thing that Brazilians were booing both teams. Yeah, Brazilians don't know football, man. They don't understand it. They're like, we're soccer, football, and net. That's it. That's all they know.
And great-looking chicks. I'll say that too. Absolutely. Hit the like button. Zander, great stuff, my friend. We will catch you. Are you doing anything over the weekend?
No, probably gonna have the weekend off. I might do a solo on the weekend if something warrants it. But other than that, we're gonna have some clips up from the shows. I'll post out some National Football Show clips. I'll post out some other Birds 365 clips that didn't make it during the week. So I'll post them out. But other than that, nothing live, no live shows during the weekend. But we will have some content going as we always do.
Hit the like button. Zander, thank you so much, my friend. We'll catch you Monday on Birds 365. Pre- and post-game show also as The Birds will be in action Monday night at Lincoln Financial versus the Falcons. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody in the chat. Appreciate all you guys.
Guys are awesome. We're going to have Jason Cole. We're going to talk to him nationally about the national games this weekend. We'll get his thoughts on Tagovailoa. Please hit the like button. Over 1,200 people in here, guys. Guys are killing it. Also, the legendary Philly Godfather at 5:30. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
He's blocked well and tries